We should know what to avoid. It is no use blaming the men. We made them what they are. And now it is up to us to try and make ourselves, the makers of men, a little more responsible in the future. We realize that no one sex can govern alone. I believe that one of the reasons why civilization has failed so lamentably is that it has a one-sided government. Don't let us make the mistake of ever allowing that to happen again. I can conceive of nothing worse than a man-governed world, except a woman-governed world, but I can see the combination of the two going forward and making civilization more worthy of the name of civilization based on Christianity, not force. A civilization based on justice and mercy. I feel men have a greater sense of justice and we of mercy. They must borrow our mercy and we must use their justice. We are new brooms. Let us see what we sweep with respect to the right rooms. Personally, I feel that every woman should take an active part in local politics. I don't mean by that every woman should go in for a political career. That, of course, is absurd, but you can take an active part in local government without going in for a political career. You can be certain when casting your vote, you are casting it for what seems nearest right, for what seems more likely to help the majority and not bolster up an organized minority. There is a lot to be done in local politics, and it is a fine apprenticeship to central government. It is very practical, and I think that although practical, it is too near to be attractive. The things that are away are more apt to catch our eye than the ones which are just under our noses. Then, too, they are less disagreeable. Political development is like all other developments. We must begin with ourselves, our own consciences, and clean out our own hearts before we take on the job of putting others straight. So with politics, if we women put our hands to local politics, we begin the foundations. After all, central governments only echo local ones. The politician in Washington, if he is a wise man, will always have one eye on his constituency, making that constituency so clean, so straight, so high in its purpose that the man from home will not dare to take a small, limited view about any question, be it a national or an international one. You must remember that when women are up against is not what they see, but the unseen forces. We are up against generations and generations of prejudice, ever since Eve ate the apple. But I would like to remind you, and all men, why she ate the apple. It was not simply because it was good for food or pleasant to the eyes. It was a tree to be desired to make one wise. She took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and she gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. We have no record of Adam murmuring against the fruit, of his not doing anything but eat it with docility. In passing, I would like to say that the first time Adam had a chance, he laid the blame on woman. However, we will leave Adam. Ever since woman's consciousness looked beyond the material, men's consciousness has feared her vaguely. He has gone to her for inspiration. He has relied on her for all that is best and most ideal in his life, yet by sheer material force he was limited. He has, without knowing it, westernized the harem mind of the East. I don't believe he knows it yet, so we must break it to him gently. We must go on being his guide, his mother, and his better half. But we must prove to him that we are a necessary half, not only in private, but in political life. The best way that we can do that is to show them our ambitions are not personal. Let them see that we desire a better, safer, and a cleaner world for our children and their children. And we realize that only by doing our bit, by facing unclean things with cleanliness, by facing wrongs with right, by going fearlessly into all things that may be disagreeable, that we will somehow make it a little better world. I don't know what we are going to do. I don't say that women will change the world, but I do say that they can if they want, and I, coming in from the old world which has seen a devastating war, cannot face the future without this hope, that the women of all countries will do their duty and raise a generation of men and women who will look upon war and all that leads to it with as much horror as we now look upon a cold-blooded murder. All of the women of England want to do away with war. If we want this new world, we can only get it by striving for it. The real struggle will be within ourselves to put out of our consciousness, of our hearts, and of our thoughts all that makes for war, hate, envy, greed, pride, force, and material ambition. 140. How's that?
That wasn't 140. That was gotta be faster than 140.
Oh, I'm going on the timing here.